und willkommen zurück. Hello and welcome back. So today I was asked, how do you revise for GCSE German? Now I got full UMS in German GCSE, and I have 3 tips that really helped me through the whole process of learning words, learning grammar, learning vocabs. It is quite difficult because you have to know all the words that C are going to ask you. You need to know what words C are going to ask you. You need to know the grammar, that you actually need to know some things that are not going to be tested that you might know but you might not need to know, or you might not even know you need to know. So this is what this video is going to cover. So the first thing that I really think is important is the SIA vocab list. If you go onto the SIA website, onto the specification, they have a list of all the vocab they can actually ask you, or it'll come up in the reading, or they will expect you to know how to write it and know what it means. And what I did was I just went through this and I highlighted words I didn't know and learnt the words I didn't know and just went over it and over and over it. And even if you just read down both sides of it, I'll insert a picture of it now. If you just read down both sides of it and get it into your head, so even some of the words, or just to recognise them, you can do so much better in the reading because you'll recognise all the words, hopefully. Obviously there are some words that they always put in that no one knows, like in my GCSE there was a word for distraction. I can't even remember what it is, but I just guessed in the exam from context of what was around it, hoping that was right. But I guess distraction. Sometimes they do throw in those words, but if you know all the words that are in the SIA list, you should be able to get your way through the reading and to write even with a better quality of German. So on the SIA website there are some practice papers. There aren't any listings, which is annoying because you kind of just have to do those in class if your teacher's going to do that with you. But for reading and writing, I definitely recommend going through the past papers and just reading, getting the hang of reading German and writing German in those ways, even translating with a dictionary if you need to at the start. But I would recommend doing foundation papers first, because obviously they're going to be slightly easier, and then if you are doing higher tier, then go on and do all the higher ones as well, because the more practice you have at looking at the language, like understanding it in your head, even without having to translate every single word, you'll get that with practice. So the more practice you do at the foundation and the higher, the better your grade is going to be, and you're putting in more time into immersing yourself in this language. Now, one of my favourite things about German is German music. I am weird like that. I love listening to music in other languages, and I listen to so much German music. When I was revising, I would just be listening to German music, not for the German really, just because I liked it, but I currently listen to Namika, who is an amazing German and Moroccan pop star in Germany, and I do think her music is pretty good. It's relatively okay to understand. I looked up most of the lyrics on Google and it came up pretty quickly, but I really enjoy just listening to the music, trying to understand it in my head, or even trying to translate a bit, or just looking up the translation and learning new words in that way, that sometimes they could come up in the exam, or you could recognize a phrase that you've seen in songs. The hardest part of every language exam is the oral exam, because it's obviously the most stressful thing, having to think in a different language, having to listen and having to speak, and do all that at once while being recorded to be sent off to an examiner to mark is stressful. So what I did was I had all my questions and I would go through and highlight the things I knew, and I would leave the things I didn't know, and I would just think, I would take a question or two every day and just think about them and go through them and think, like, is this true? Now usually if your questions are true, they're going to be easier to remember. If they aren't true, like some of mine weren't true, like I don't go play tennis every weekend, absolutely not, but did say that in my oral. But if it's the truer it is, the easier it is for you to remember it in your head, because obviously you know some of the words that you're going to be saying, and if they're true, they're going to come to mind quicker than the ones that aren't true. For example, did I remember to say that I definitely separate every single item of my rubbish? No. Do I do it? Anyway, yeah, so the oral is stressful, but if you break each question down, do it bit by bit, and do themes, and then get tested by family or friends, or even get a group of you together to ask each other questions in German and respond, that gives you a great advantage for whenever you're doing it in front of your teacher. So obviously this isn't just going to work for German, it's going to work for French, and it's going to work for Spanish, or whatever other language that you are doing at GCSE. It's going to work for whatever it is, obviously not in German, but in whatever language you're studying. And the thing about languages is they are difficult. It's hard to think about the whole world in a completely new way where you don't know anything. For example, what is this? I don't, like, this is a dictionary, but what is it in this other world that I'm trying to think in? Or what is this? Coolly. What are these? I feel like it's blatt papier, but I'm not sure. Or you've, like, everything has a different name. I have a wallet here, a Geldbörse. I have headphones, Kopfhörer, which literally means like head listening, which I like. But you just have to focus on, like, even if you take daily objects and remind yourself of what they are. Wörterbuch, for example, zum Beispiel in German. You can just get a better grasp of language, and even if you use it in your daily life, for example, integrating some simple phrases into your life, like I would say komm schon, which means like come on, occasionally, which just gets German into your head, and it helps you to enjoy the language more, make it more personal, which is obviously easier for the exam because these things can come to mind more. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it's helpful for you as you do your German or do your French or Spanish or whatever other language that you're choosing to study. I hope that you do really well, and I hope that you do take some of these things into consideration and help to boost your grade to get the best marks you can in your language. Thank you. Bye.